have purchased some of the Tops Now Cam Ward Premier from the draft cards. Still plan on sending them in. Now, I was looking at value of those cards last year with Caleb. Looks like they do about 3 times the money if you grade them and give 10s. Can I expect a premium having only, one really top quarterback this year in the draft?
I've been collecting sports cards off and on my entire life. I never got into the selling of it. By trade, I do penny stocks. So this is just like fun. I literally took 10 grand and turned it into over 2.3 million at one point. I want to have passive income. But my question is scaling up. In your videos, you mentioned targeting cards that are like $100. Is there like a sweet spot like where you don't want to go any higher?
We're live for episode number 61 of the Eric Michael Show, where I talk about business, sports cards, answer your guys' questions, where you can call in below there at the bottom. And we're at a great time of the year. It's end of May as I'm speaking right now, and with the NBA playoffs going on, and there's some guys that are just skyrocketing in value. You have the NFL mini camps getting underway in practice. You have guys being drafted soon in the NBA, specifically Cooper Flagg. Me personally, I think the Mavericks should trade that pick for Giannis, but that's another story. But check this out. I want to show you guys something cool. So if I share my screen here, you guys want to see something crazy? Watch this. So check out Tyrese Haliburton. So once again, I'm a huge Knicks fan. This guy has just slashed the Knicks. Just like he had one of the greatest games I've ever seen last night. He had 35, 15 and 10 with not one turnover. I don't know how the hell this guy shoots threes at such a high clip with that shot form, but God bless. But look how much Tyrese Haliburton stuff is up in the past, 30 days. His Silver Prism PSA 10 was $168, and now the last sale was $331, and it peaked at $408. So wow, that is just insane. And there's no way to predict this. So people ask me all the time. One of the most common questions I get is, hey, Eric, should I buy X, Y, and Z player before the playoffs? And the answer is no. So kind of what happens with the playoffs, and this is what I've seen happen a lot, is you have players that nobody expects to play well, okay? So you have just adjusting this mic here. So you have players that people don't expect to play well and players that do expect to play well. So for example, if Luka Doncic was going off in the playoffs, his value wouldn't really skyrocket all too much because it's kind of expected. However, Tyrese Haliburton, he's a good player, but no one really expected the Pacers to go this far and for him to play that well. So because of that, that's why his value popped off. So just to show you another example of this. So let me share my screen again here. So let me think of an example. Let's look at Jalen Hurts. This is one of the few examples I could remember. I want to show you guys another example. So Jalen Hurts, his PSA 10. If we go to all data, okay. So check this out. So 2022, his value went from you could see his PSA 10 contenders autograph was $1,100 right before the 2022 season. And then during the season, it went all the way up to $3,000. Excuse me, $3,000. So his value, and this is in 2022. I remember this specifically because I had a student that made a crap ton of money with Jalen Hurts. Now, the Jalen Hurts we know today, everybody knows he is a great quarterback, or he's really good. He's a B+ A quarterback. In 2022, before the season started, people didn't really think he'd be anything. People questioned if he could throw the ball accurately downfield, and he surprised everybody, started playing really well. The Eagles got off to a really hot start, and his stuff sold like crazy. So because nobody expected him to play well, and then when he did, it's kind of like a penny stock. It's so volatile, just boom, skyrockets up. The same thing happened with Tua Tagovailoa the next year, but if Patrick Mahomes were to play well, nobody cares. Everyone knows that's what he does. But what I'm trying to say is something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity. I had no idea Tyrese Haliburton was going to play well. If you asked me, should I buy Tyrese Haliburton cards before this playoff start, I would have said, hell no. That sounds like a terrible idea. But, once in a while you can get lucky. Now, this is not the way I recommend making money with sports cards because it's unpredictable, right? how are you supposed to predict who's going to play well? Like most players don't live up to expectations. You can get lucky once in a while, like if you had Tyrese Haliburton cards, sure, but it's just not a predictable way. Like the way I like to look at sports cards, like as you guys know, like I look at sports cards for the most part like a business. Like I do have my personal collection, but like in business, you want to be as predictable as possible, right? You want to make predictable money every single month, 2K, 3K, 4K, 5K a month, right? Whatever your goal is. And in order to do that, you need predictable processes. So like that's why hence I buy sports cards in the off season, get them graded, sell them as the season's getting closer. Hopefully they appreciate 10 to 20%. And then I keep doing that because I know that's a predictable way. Like I just don't know who's going to play well. Like this year in the NFL, I like CJ Stroud a lot. I think the Texans are going to play well, but I don't know. Like chances are he probably won't. But just pretty crazy. Usually guys like maybe there's one guy every playoffs that pops off, but as soon as they lose, the value goes down. So yeah. And then also a side note of that, like because so like just I'll show you guys something else too. Once again, this is me like kind of forecasting, so there's no guarantees here. So if we look at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So Shai, wow, what a terrible trade the Clippers made years ago, right? With Paul George. All right. Wow, this stuff is up a lot. Let's go past 180 days. All right. So you could see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is obviously a great player. He's probably a top 5 player in the league right now, right? And his Silver Prism PSA 10, you could see went up a lot, in the past like few months, and it's been at like $1,300. You can see it. $1,300 is a Silver Prism PSA 10. If he wins the finals, most likely his value will not shoot up because everybody expects it. It's baked into his value. Like, I think the Thunder's odds to win the finals right now, last time I looked, are like minus 260. So it's baked into his value that he's going to win. So if he wins, it's probably not going to go up a lot. Then also combine that with if he wins the finals, everybody's going to be trying to sell his cards at the same time. So if the supply is all the way up here, that just means it drives the prices down. So I've literally seen guys win the finals and their prices go down a little bit, which sounds totally counterintuitive. But like, if everyone expects something to happen and it happens, his value doesn't go up, right? It's just common sense. But because Tyrese Haliburton, nobody expected that, or very few people did, that's why his value goes up. So hopefully that makes sense. It's just like what I'm trying to say, like I said before, something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity, right? If you invest in the Disney stock and they have a good year, no one gives a shit. They have a good year every year. It might go up a few percent, as opposed to if you invested in Tesla, which is a volatile company 5-6 years ago, that stock skyrocketed. So it's just kind of how it goes. But just so you guys know, you could. I'm gonna go over some cards. Just I like to start these calls off with cards I'm looking to buy. But you could call that number down below. I'll have a conversation with you, answer any of your guys' questions. But let's do my favorite part of this while I wait for some callers to come in and look at some cards to buy. So I have sucked recently. Like I've found some really good cards on auction, and I have not won any of them. So what this is, what Easy Sniper is, this is a tool that lets you bid in the last possible second. So if you see an auction and it's ending in 8 hours, right? You want to try to bid the last second, but sometimes you forget. Like I used to forget all the time. You could just pop it into Easy Sniper what you want to bid, and boom, it'll just do it last second for you. There's multiple softwares like this. I think this one costs $60 a year, I think. Let's take a look. So let's see what's going on out there. So you have Optic Football that came out. You have basketball. You have baseball. Like, I wonder what, I just had curiosity. I wonder what Paul Skeens is doing now. Let's look at his Bowman Chrome PSA 10. It was so obvious his value wasn't going to go down. Let's see how much it's went down. It's actually not down that much. There's some cards of him that are down, but it's down a little bit, like $1,000. His PSA 10 was like 1,200, 1,300. He's still really good, but the Pirates just think. Let's start off with buying some cards already graded. Because me personally, even though I talk about grading cards, a lot of the cards I buy are actually already graded. That's kind of like what I do because it's less time. I could spend more money. Holy shit. This is a crazy card. Card everyone's been talking about. Everyone's been talking about this card. I had no idea. $111,000 for Caitlin Clark. And honestly, I don't even think that's a bad investment. There's some baller cards. So this is where I buy a lot of my already graded cards. Not all of them, but a decent chunk. Um, wow. But anyways, let's look at some basketball and football because we're in the off season of that stuff. And let's just look at highest value. So I like when I'm buying, I like to buy younger players that are more volatile. This is a good time to sell this card, right? I like to buy younger players that are more volatile, buy them in the off season, sell them as you get closer to the season. Ja Morant, his value actually popped off last year in the offseason. Like Ja Morant, I mean, you look at his value, check this out. Like, I did not expect this last year. And I had like one Morant card, but I did not expect this. Check this out. So if you go back a year ago, let's go to all data. Yeah, too much data. Let's go back a year, like January 1st, and let's fast forward to like before the basketball season, like, I don't know, like October 24th, I think that's when it started. So his value, his Silver Prism PSA 10 was like $395, like $400 in the off season. And then as you got closer to the season, it actually went up by like 50% to like about up to like $600 ish. So his value actually popped off, but he's not someone, me personally, I'm looking to buy. I like this. I'm not going to buy it because his values went up a lot, but and also because it's a rare card, everyone can see what you paid. So, like, when I'm buying cards like this, I like to buy it offline or off of eBay or at a card show so people can't see what I paid. Let's see. Shy. People are selling a lot of the playoff stuff right now. Haliburton, it's a good time for that. Good time for that for sure. Edwards, Herbert. I think Herbert. If I had to buy one player and hold it into the season, which I'm not, I'd buy Herbert. I love the Chargers, especially their over under wins, which is 9.5, and it's plus 110. I don't see how that doesn't hit, but it's always seems obvious in the moment, right? When you're betting it. Let's see. Josh Allen. There's nothing crazy. Like I want to buy some of these quarterbacks that are down, or maybe some Wemby or something. If they trade for if the Spurs trade for Giannis, I think they should. I don't think they're going to, but I think they should because what are the chances Cooper Flag is even remotely as good as Giannis? Probably not high, right? And you could win now, like Wemby. You have Chris Paul. Maybe trade for Trey Young. I don't know. That'd probably be too much. But you got a caller. You're live. You got Eric Michael.
Good morning, Eric.
Yep.
How's it going?
What's up? What's your name?
Gary,
Gary. Where are you calling from, Gary?
Indiana.
Indiana. Is it cold over there?
Yeah.
It's warmed up?
Nah, it's like 70 degrees. It's beautiful weather out.
Nice, nice. Well, are you from like the city part of it or more remote?
West of Indy, but I'm still a patient.
Okay, cool. Well, how can I make your day better?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I have purchased some of the Tops Now Cam Ward Premier from the draft cards
Okay.
that they had sold. I bought 20 of them, hoping that I was going to get a parallel. Didn't hit any of them. Still plan on sending them in. Now, I was looking at value of those cards last year with Caleb,
Yep.
and looks like they do about 3 times the money if you'd grade them and get 10s. Can I expect a premium having only, one really top quarterback this year in the draft?
So you're talking about what are the Tops Now cards sell for? Like $4 to $6, right? That's what I'm looking at.
I bought them at $8 a piece from Tops exclusively.
Yeah, so this is okay. So let me show you. You're gonna be delayed because you're on the phone with me, but let me show the audience. All right. So this is the card you're talking about. It's like I'm looking on eBay sales. It's like $4 to $5, $6 in that range. And there's no PSA 10 sales. But if you go back a year ago and you look at Caleb
Hmm.
Williams, so Caleb Williams' Tops Now card, I mean, there's a few of them. So
Yeah,
it's about
the draft night.
gotcha. Hold on, I'm just looking here. So Raw does like, man, it's kind of all over the place, but Raw does like $4 and a 10 does like 30. So
I was looking at them and I was seeing what they were selling whenever they first came out last year. It was like $100.
let's see. So let's take a look. So when they first came out last year, they were like, I'm assuming we're talking about the same card here. I'm looking here. It was like the first sale of it, first two sales was like 90, but then it settled down to like 30 to $40 in that range. And then the raw sales, there's a bunch of different ones here, but yeah, the raw sales were always at like $8 to $5 to $4. So like if I had to take a guess, that card of Cam Ward would be like
That's not the card I was looking at, boss, just to let you know.
oh, different card. Well, show me. Which
Yeah. The Tops Now Draft Night card.
oh,
They'll be just
uh,
yeah, they're the ones standing there just with their hats in their hand.
draft. Oh,
Well,
that's spelled night wrong.
the-
Oh, draft night. Okay, I did not.
Yep.
With the when did these cards come
They
out?
call them first pick. I'm sorry, boss.
Oh, first pick. Okay, because I know there's a bunch of different.
Yes.
I've never really bought tops now, but I know there's a bunch of different
Yeah.
ones. So it has their hat. They have their hat in their hand.
No, the last year's I'm guessing they did, but this year he doesn't.
So he's just kind of standing there, portrait
He's just
style,
standing
smiling.
there. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay, so you're talking about okay. All right, so you're talking about this card. So he's just
Yeah.
standing there.
It's their very first card they get with their team, with them, associated with them.
Draft. Okay, so Caleb Williams. I see. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with these cards. I've never messed around with them, but let's see here. Let me. Yeah, this gives me.
The reason I like them is they're uncirculated. They're sent straight to you from Tops, so there's no ding corners. They're perfect condition.
Well, that's a good thing. Okay, let's see here. All right, so the Caleb Williams from last year. When this card, let's look at all data. Okay, so when this card came out, it was like I'm assuming this is the same card, right? Tops Now Draft. It's of Caleb Williams kind of smiling with his suit, like with his hands in his pocket.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, so when this card first came out, it was like $6. So it's very similar to Cam Ward. It was the same price. So you could expect a PSA 10. Like I see the PSA 10s were doing like it's kind of the same thing. Like usually the Tops Now cards, all the variations sell sort of similar, but
Hmm.
like even that back then the PSA 10s were like 30 to 40-ish and you bought them for $8 a pop. So you're going to spend
That's
$20
only going to get my money back. I know.
yeah. So like what would I do? Uh like if you have one of the first ones on market, it'll sell for more. But yeah, I just don't see how you're gonna make money. And then if they don't grade at 10, they grade at 9, then you'll lose. Um, I just don't see how it makes economic sense. Even if it sells for like $40 as a 10, which is stretching it, I don't see it. Um, so me personally, if it was my cards, I would not send them in for grading. Just sell them, get your money, maybe make a little bit. Hopefully you could. And then, you know, maybe buy like a Tops Now parallel of Cam Ward that sells for like 30, 40, $50 raw. Send that in for grading.
So, how do you feel about Zack Ede for my second question?
In terms of, well, let's look. Um,
I bought a few of his to 99s and to 49. I wondering how you feel about him coming into the off season.
yeah, he didn't. Did he start at all for the Grizzlies, or was a backup?
They
Right.
made the playoffs. I mean, that's better than most rookies, right?
This is true. Let's look. So Zack Ede, Prism. I'm just curious what his stuff sells for. So Zack Ede. Let's see if there's any PSA 10s on market. Well, I'm just giving myself a little gauge of those PSA 10s. I don't know if there's any silver PSA 10s. Yeah, silver Prism PSA 10 is $81, and raw does like I'm assuming it's probably like really cheap. Raw silver is like $4. Yeah. And then let's look at. Oh, I'm just looking at a few things here. I don't want to give you bad advice. I want to tell you what I would do if it was me. Zack Ede, silver prism. Let's see here. PSA 10. This does. I just want to see the graph of this thing. Okay, so yeah, it's come down. There's been a few sales. Yeah, I like the basketball. 'Cause Edie, I like Jared McCain. I like all of them because it's so slept on right now. Like no one cares about them. People only care about the
Right.
football. And right, you've probably
Hmm.
heard me say a million times before. Something is only an opportunity when no one else sees it as an opportunity. So like buying his silver prisms at $5 each and sending them in for grading and a 10 being $80. I'd probably try to shoot for buying a little bit higher end prism, like try to find stuff that's like $20, $30. I wouldn't worry about if you're going to double your money or not on prism. If it tens, you're going to over double your money because it's not that easy to grade. But yeah, I like it because I just don't see like much downside. Like it's already so cheap, all the stuff. And if basketball makes a wave or if any of these players do anything in the offseason, I think it could go up a lot because it's so slept on right now because everyone's just buying the football stuff. I like it. I like not only Edie, but I like all the guys like, Reed Shepard and Dillingham. And I just bought a Prism card at Dillingham. I think I actually, oh shit, I think I forgot to pay for it. I got to pay for it on eBay. But I think I wanted it a few days ago and I forgot to pay. I got to do that. I like it. Honestly, I like the idea. Like, if you put two, this is gonna sound crazy, but if you put two cards side by side, one of Zach Edey and one of Jaden Daniels, both are $50, and a 10 is $300. I'd rather have the Edey card. I think it has higher potential to go up in value because Jaden Daniels is so like diluted. So yes, I like it to answer your question.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I think you got it taken care of.
Sweet. Well, let me know how everything goes. Sorry to burst your bubble on the tops now stuff, but I like the Edey stuff. I think that's a good idea.
Good one.
You too. Bye bye. Cut out there for a second. Is there another one, Kavi?
Hello,
Hey, you got Eric. You're live.
Eric. How are you doing?
What's up, man?
David here from David from Tampa here.
I was just gonna say I saw a Tampa area code.
Yeah, I'm out in Lutz.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, I've never actually been, but I've heard of it. We have an office here in downtown Tampa. And then me and my business partner, we live by the arena by Emily. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah.
Sweet. So, I've been collecting sports cards off and on my entire life,
Okay.
and yeah, I never got into the selling of it. So, by trade, I do penny stocks, which is funny because I've just started watching your videos. You mentioned the penny stocks, the pumps, and the dumps,
Yep.
and I've made a fortune in penny stocks,
Nice.
and I'm trying to get out. Like, I want to have passive income and not do penny stocks anymore. I'll be able to retire with what I made with the penny stocks. That's not a problem. But my question is two parts. One is scaling up. In your videos, you mentioned targeting cards that are like $100,
Okay.
but I want to be able to like. Is there like a sweet spot like where you don't want to go any higher?
Okay, so loaded question. So penny stock.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, I got the perfect answer for you. So, penny stocks, retiring. Do you have a goal? Like, how much do you want to make per month to say, okay, this is good. Like, this is
Yeah,
pretty good.
100K a year.
100K a year.
I,
So
I
10.
literally, yeah, I own two franchises, so this is just like fun. But I literally took 10 grand and turned it into over 2.3 million at one point in the
Nice.
penny stock. So to me, this is like I want to start out and with a small amount of money and like literally do it over again. This to me, this is like a challenge. I like the fun.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like the excitement of it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay. So multiple things. Well, first thing, me being the salesperson I am, and you having a lot of money, you should probably buy our program. It's just going to speed up your success. I would recommend doing that. Not just saying that to sell you. It'll help you out a lot.
I
But
get you, man. I get you.
besides from that, so if you want to, so like generally what I teach, and like if you ever see my ads or anything, I promote the idea of making a side income. Hey, you got a job, You want to make an extra few grand a month? Come do sports cards. So if you want to scale up to like 100K a year, there's 2 ways to do it. And just so you know, in sports cards, it's not passive income. You can make it semi-passive, like pretty light work, but in terms of completely passive, like you just dump your money in a mutual fund and never think about it again, it's not like that. You'll never have that happen.
No, a matter of fact, I'm willing to put the work in. Like, I'll work my way up. I'm not worried
Okay,
about
yeah. I just don't
making
want.
$500 the first month, and
Okay. God, yeah, I just
I'm
don't want to
willing
give
to
you
put the work
I
in.
don't want to give you a false expectation that it's passive because I know that people throw that word out around all the time. This is just not. But okay, so there's two ways to make money in sports cards, right? There's buying cards not graded. There's buying cards already graded, right? You want to start off buying cards not graded, sending them in for grading. So the average, the sweet spot is about $100 to $150, right? So
Okay.
common sense, you might think to yourself, oh, well, I want to scale up. I have some more money. Let me buy more expensive cards. No, that's not the way to do it. Because when you buy $1,000 card and you send it in for grading, there's 2 things to it. Number 1, your margins are less. So if you get a 10,
Ooh, okay.
you'll try to like 2 to 2.5 times your money. Because when you go and sell a card that's worth $2,500, there's just less people bidding on it, right? You have to remember when you buy a card and grade it and sell it, generally you're selling it to a collector, right? If you buy a card of Jaden Daniels and you sell it, chances are the person buying it is someone that believes in Jaden Daniels, right? Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So you have less of a pool of people bidding on that card, aka your profit margin percentage is less. Number 2, when you're buying $1,000 card, now you're dealing with people and cards where people actually know what the hell they're doing. So there's less of them on the market that are in good condition. When you're buying cards that are $100, $200, you're dealing with people that just break open packs and boxes, don't want to be bothered grading cards. There's tons of them in good condition. So the point I'm trying to make is if you buy 10 cards that are worth $1,000 or you buy 10 cards that are worth $100, generally speaking, a higher percent of the cards worth $100 is going to grade a 10 because the cards out there
Oh,
on the
wow.
market are
Okay.
generally in better condition. So
You nailed my question. Yeah.
yeah, so you'd rather have 10 cards worth $100 each than 1 card worth $1,000 because you're going to get a higher percent of them to grade at 10 at $100, and also your profit margin percentage is going to be higher. When you buy a card that's worth $100 and you spend $20 to get it graded, especially like a card of Prism, a lot of times you could sell for over $300. So you're over tripling your money. That's not going to happen with a card that's worth $1,000. Make sense?
It does.
Yeah. And
It
then
really does.
also, and like you could like to be honest, like I love risk and I buy cards that are worth a few $1,000s all the time and send them in for grading. Like I'm not saying don't do it, but the core of your business should not be buying cards worth $1,000. It's just hard. Like it's just not easy to do. Like mix them in if you see one, go for it. Fuck it. But like don't expect to do it all the time. And then so that's the way to get started in making money with sports cards. And you could scale that up by having I'm assuming you know what a VA is, like a virtual assistant overseas?
Like, yeah, I know what they are.
Yeah, so, like, what we do inside of our program, so it's like, okay, you could spend an hour, 2 hours a day finding cards on eBay, getting them graded, and, like, if you're good, you can make, like, 3 to 5K a month, but then you probably don't wanna be on eBay for 6 hours a day, so, like, what we do, at least inside of our program, what I've done for a long time, is we hire virtual assistants, so, like, for us, like, we actually have, like, a school in the Philippines where we, like, literally train people on how to find sports cards, put them through a test, all that fun stuff, and then we just give them to our students, and they cost about $3 to $4 an hour. That's above minimum wage in the Philippines, and obviously it's cheap for America. And they're actually finding cards to you on autopilot. So like when in my heyday, like when I was buying cards full time before Major League Profits took off, I would just have multiple virtual assistants working for me. I would check a spreadsheet I'd shared with them at the end of every single day. It'd take me 10 to 20 minutes to go through it. I'd buy what looks good and move on to the next day. So I'd outsource all of the card finding work for like, they were probably working for me for like 4 or 5 hours a day, for like, $12 to $15 a day. So that's how to scale the grading part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's a scribe. I know. I think they call those people scribes. I think there's a company that does it. I think you advertise a company that does that too. Yeah, that makes sense. I had a second question though, if you have time.
Yeah, go
It's a
for it.
very quick one.
Yeah, let it rip.
Um, So I was looking. There's three main grading companies: PSA, SGC,
Yep.
and Becket Grading Services.
Yep.
I noticed you talk about PSA predominantly.
Yep.
SGC seems like they're a little bit cheaper, but is it a waste of time? Like,
No.
are you not going to get? Okay, go ahead.
So was that your whole question? Sorry, I get excited and I cut people off sometimes. was
So
that
do
was
I.
any
So do I.
anything else to that question?
No, I just want to know, like, is SGC like a waste of time to send to? Is it PSA the golden standard, or
No,
is there cases,
it's not a waste of
or use all
time.
three of them?
So Beckett. Okay, so like they all have. Okay, so like back in my day, it's funny. I'm only 27, but like back in my day when I first started buying and selling sports cards 10 years ago, Beckett was like the company, and like it was crazy. Like you could send in a card, 1 day service. It would take 1 day, and it cost $20, and it would come back to you in 1 day. It was nuts. And like Beckett was actually better than PSA with modern cards. Then the
Okay.
pandemic happened, and Nat Turner, who's like a longtime collector, he bought PSA. He made it really good. The people at Beckett fucked up. They were taking too long to get cards back. They were messing things up, and Beckett went. So PSA, bottom line, a PSA 10 almost always sells for more than a Beckett 9.5. PSA is the standard. You're always going to make more money with sending a card to PSA, right?
Right.
So
But the turnaround time's a little bit longer, seems like.
yes, right. So what the only cards I send to Beckett, just to knock Beckett out of the way, is higher end cards, specifically like thicker cards, like National Treasures, which is like an expensive type of thick card. If I don't think it's going to get a PSA 10, there's a little bit of a corner problem or edge problem. PSA is very hard with that. I'll send it to Beckett. But even so, I still kind of will send it to PSA first to see what happens because a PSA 10 is worth double or like at least 50% more than a Beckett 9.5. But Beckett, for all intents and purposes, don't send any cards to Beckett. Bottom line. There you go.
Okay.
Make it easy. And
What
then
about SGC?
so
Yeah.
SGC, what I tell people is if you're broke and you got like $500 to your name or $500 to spend on this stuff, right? You don't want it's actually more economical to send cards to SGC because they get back to you in a week or two. As PSA takes like, 2 months. So you could build up your bankroll much quicker, even though an SGC 10 sells for 30% less than a PSA 10. But you're able to, even though you're making less money, you're making more money because you're turning over your money quicker. PSA, once you have enough money to buy cards for 2 months without worrying about getting cards back to you, and you're able to start that like snowball effect or like that avalanche effect, then you send cards to PSA. But if you don't have enough money to be consistently buying a few cards a week and sending them to PSA, if you're gonna run out of money next week, I tell them to send to SGC. So that's the only perk of SGC. And then if you're newer to the hobby, also you could just send cards to SGC just to like get some confidence in yourself and get some confidence that like this thing actually works at buying and selling cards. And what I
I,
would do,
I've been
so
buying cards for years, but I have never sent one out for grading, and I absolutely got crushed in 2021. I was buying all the cards during COVID,
yep,
and I was looking at the values. I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like all these PSA nines are worth like nothing now. But you
yeah.
know what? You gotta learn. Sometimes you need to learn to get better at
Yeah,
things.
you're okay.
And
You've made
I'm
millions. You made millions from penny stocks. You'll survive.
yeah, I'll be just fine.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll show you what I would do. So, like, if you're newer, right, and you want to like kind of see this thing out and see if it works, like, what you could do if you type in SG, if you go on eBay, I'm sharing my screen right now. It might be delayed for you, but if you go on eBay and you type in like SGC 10 Prism 2024, right, and you go to sold items, you could reverse engineer it. So if you go to because the problem with SGC is you want to make sure the card's gonna sell for enough as an SGC 10. So what I would do is do like minimum like $125 and see like what SGC 10s sell for at least 125. So check this out. This is actually cool. I actually never really talk about this. But okay, so you have this orange velocity Caitlin Clark card that's sold for $300 as an SGC 10. Right. So what I could do is go to Prism S go to Prism, Orange, Velocity, Caitlin Clark, and see what this card actually sells for, not graded. So if we see here, this card not graded is like 120. ish, something like
Okay.
that. And as an SGC 10, it's sold for 300 and 330. And what if I'm sending a card in for grading after fees and everything? I want to at least double my money. The challenge with SGC is making sure you're going to double your money. So this tells me I'm going to double my money, and then I just reverse engineered it. Great, and now I'll go and try to find these cards on eBay and see if I can find any that are in good
Okay.
condition. Does that make
I've
sense?
actually been kind of doing that stuff. Uh, and it's a little bit difficult because there's like so many different brands out there and subsets. But I'm just trying to stick with Prism
Yeah,
and Optic
yeah.
for now.
Prism, Optic is good. Mosaic you can mess around with. Donruss is good, but like people get so caught up in like, and dude, even me, I've been doing this for 10 years. I don't fucking know all the variations. Orange this, blue this, glitter this. I don't know. They just make new ones every single year, right? Because they want to sell more cards to make more money. So I'm just looking like,
Yeah,
hey, like I know Prism, I know Optic, I know these cards sell like liquid. They're liquid, and I'll have no problem selling them. Now, can I just double my money as the card in good condition? I don't care if it's a blue, laser, orange, pink, rainbow. I
exactly.
don't give.
You're not
So
getting married to it, right?
yeah, yeah. And some people do get married to it. Honestly, I've literally. So like, it's funny because I've been doing this a long time, and my buddy Dylan got me into sports cards 10 years ago, and
Right.
like I was first introduced to sports cards with the idea of making money, like that. Like he was doing it to make money, and that's how I was introduced to it. And then like I started teaching people like these, like we've taught thousands of people, and I'll get students that'll come to me and say, Eric, I'm having trouble selling my cards because I feel like I'm attached to it. Like I feel like I have a connection. I'm like, man, it's just a card. But I've never understood it. But you know, so I do see students sometimes not able to sell their cards because they because they get attached to them.
Yeah, you got to detach, and that's like something I've learned from the penny stocks. And matter of fact, I'm going to have my own personal PC collection with the cards, and unless these guys are going to the Hall of Fame or in the Hall of Fame, like I'm not even really too interested in them. So I'll hold Aaron Judge and stuff like that for my personal. But you know, like as far as like these rookie quarterbacks you talk about, yeah, I'm just going to sell them.
Yeah, yeah, most
I'll look
Yeah, most of them are just gonna go down in value, and then also
exactly.
it's funny because like I don't know if you ever do you see my ads ever?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's how I found you,
Oh, you
and
did.
then I saw some of your YouTube videos.
Okay, so like it's funny like the whole like personal collection thing. Like people like will comment and give me hate saying, Eric, you're ruining the hobby. You just want to make money. Blah blah blah. And it's funny because even a personal collection. So my personal collection, the thing I collected are 1933 Gaudi Babe Ruths. I just think they're undervalued. Even though I'm a Mets fan, I like Babe Ruth. I like history. I think they're not too expensive. But like even people with a personal collection, you're still like buying that personal collection to make money, just long term, just not short term flipping. Like I teach, like everyone's in the hobby to make money one way or another. Like if you're someone that likes Michael Penix and you're buying a lot of his cards, you're not collecting, you're investing, right? Because you're thinking he's a good
Yeah,
player, hoping he's going to play good long term. But that's my side rant for the day. But yeah. So you're trying to make money one way or another. Like you're buying those Aaron Judge cards because you think like he's a great player. He'll go up in value, right? No one's going to put their money into something where they think it's going to go down. But yeah,
no, I agree. I agree. Keep on doing what you're doing, buddy.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. Any other questions?
No, I mean I've taken up like your whole show, so
Yeah, you're
I
good.
just appreciate your help.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, any other questions? Feel free to. We usually do this every Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. So any other questions? Just let me know. Call in again.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right, you have
Thanks,
a good
man.
one.
Enjoy your day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? You got Eric. You're live.
Hey Eric, this is actually Eric from Philly.
Ah,
Uh,
good name.
yeah, I called you last week. Actually, this is just two quick questions about grading.
Yep.
The first one is with regards to centering. So I sent one batch in last month, didn't get it back yet, obviously.
Yep.
Um, Now I know they said they're pretty strict about the 55-45 or better.
Yep.
Now, a lot of cards I'm grading, it's weird. It can't really 55-45. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get to. I'm noticing I'm either getting 50-50 or like 56-44 or 57-43. Now, those 57-43s or 56-44, would you send those in if there were no other
Wait, how
problems?
do you know the exact measurements? Are you
So
using some tool or something?
well, yeah, I mean they have they have those cards, but basically like how those cards work, like they tell you, what's they have those measuring lines, like on those you get those. It's I don't know, you can get them on Amazon, but
Oh,
you can
okay.
basically just
So you're
but
using a
basically what I
tool.
do is I measure with what they're basically what all they do is they just take a tape measure, like with those real precise, like millimeter lines, and you
Yep.
can just measure the card with one of those
Yeah,
lines, and
yeah.
then
56. I'm sending it in. I don't give a shit. 57. They're not. Trust me, they're not doing that. So just like it's like a pendulum, right? If the card is perfectly centered, 50-50, then
mhm.
maybe if there's a tiny dimple, there's a tiny edge problem, you can send it in. But if it's like 55-45, then you really need the rest of the card to be perfect. So it's just like a balancing act. But like my general rule for grading cards, like these are humans grading these cards, right? And they're you don't see it, but they are going through a gajillion cards a day. Like even though you're looking at your card very closely, they are not looking at your card closely, which is why
Yeah, right.
when you send in cards for grading, you think something's perfect, and they give it a 9 because they probably just didn't look at it closely and they just saw something real quick that probably didn't even exist. Their eyes are probably like watery at that point, and they just give it a 9. But if it's good enough,
Yeah,
send it in. That's my general rule. If it's good enough,
yeah, that's what
let it rip.
I was kind of thinking. Like, they have so many cards to go through. I'm not sure. I mean, the guy at the store was like, they're looking at these things under a fucking microscope. I'm like, I don't know if
Nah,
they're.
they might, but very fast, right, dude? These guys are paid hourly, and they're going through like, I mean, dude, I mean, how many cards is PSA graded? Like 50,000 or something, 100,000, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they're not going it. They're not going it like over that fast. Maybe like expensive cards, yeah, but like, dude, you know how many like cards they get with the bulk service? That are like $50, $30, $80, $100. So if it's good enough, let it rip.
Right. And okay. And my second question comes to like about like autograph grading. Um
Yeah.
so uh I think you had said something on one of your shows. What is it? A 10-9. It's going to bring your card, like if it's a 10 and then the autos, I forget what you said. If it's a 10 card but the not autos a 9, then it's
Yeah,
going to
no,
bring the value.
yeah, no good.
Okay. So my question is so I sent, cards in and I didn't get the autos graded. Now, if those cards come back, let's say a 10, can you just, if it's not something I want to flip quickly, can I just resend the card in and get the auto graded? Uh,
Yeah, but it's not like if you're flipping the card, it's just gonna take too long and it's not worth it. Like grading the autograph. So okay, so like grade it. Okay, let's say you have $100 card, right? And a PSA 10 is $300. If you have a 10 autograph, you could expect it to go up like 10 to 20%. So if it's like pop one and there's no other autographs graded, maybe it'll go up like 20%. So it'll be like worth like 360, right? But if it gets a 10 with a 9 autograph, it'll probably only sell for like 200. No one likes to see a 9. So it's not worth it. You'd rather just sell it and repeat what you just did rather than send it in again. If you're looking to flip the card, of course. So I wouldn't. Me personally, I would not.
okay. So if I have a card that I say, okay, well, there's no way this is going to gem, but this auto looks pretty good. That's right. Okay, you said
Oh,
it
yeah.
only brings.
Oh, so if you're sending a card for it to
Well,
only get
it's
the
kind of a
autograph
two-part
graded?
thing because I had sent one card, a couple cards in that I only got the card graded, but I was thinking back, and then I was kind of thinking a couple of days ago, I'm like, well, those autos were pretty good. They're like Cooper DeJean like cards, so like it's not something that I have to flip quickly because that I can send it back in again. It'll probably make the card go up, and I can wait to flip that. You know what I mean? It's not like he's a QB or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean,
So that's what I was saying. I don't know if PSA had to regrade, like if you sent a card
no,
in
no.
to
They don't.
regrade the whole card.
No, no, no. You can just get the autograph graded. Yeah, a Cooper DeJean card. because I was thinking like a quarterback, where people like there's not tons of collectors of Cooper DeJean. If it was my card, I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth it. I would not.
Okay, and then to my second part, where if the card I think is only like a 9 or something, but you know, the auto is pretty good. You would send just for an auto grade
No.
or no?
No, I would not.
No.
It's not really going to increase the value. And also, me personally, if I see that, I'm like, wow, there's something fucked up with that card. If this guy did not want to grade it and only got the autograph graded, so
Yeah, okay, that's
no,
what I was thinking. Okay, yeah.
yeah, it's not going to increase in value much, if anything. To be honest, people aren't dumb. They know this. They know that you're basically saying this card's messed up. I think it might be. I think it might be worth more raw. Honestly, I would pay more raw for the card personally.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then actually one other quick thing is for short print cards, like there's a couple Andrew Painter cards that I got off eBay, and obviously I see why I got them. I guess at a good price. They're like refractors, and they have those damn print, those print lines on them. Would you not like grade those at all if they have a print line on them?
Does it go across the whole card?
Yeah.
Are there multiple?
On one, no, it's just one. It's
Yeah, I would. If it was
original.
going across like half the card and there was nothing else wrong with the card and it was light, I'd send it in. Across the whole card, nah, I wouldn't send it in. Unless it's
No,
very light, like very, very light, but it doesn't sound like it is.
okay, but if there was just a light one, you would maybe.
Yeah, print lines are hard. If it's very light, yes. If like I'd rather have a small dimple on the card than a print line. Print line is really
Right.
not good. Yeah, a small like dimple. I've had better luck getting tens with those. There's no like exact math or science to it. I'm just telling you based off my experience. But I would not send it in.
Okay. All right. And then so just real quick recap. So if a card, like I said, a couple cards I'm about to send in, they're pretty good. No dimples, edges, everything is good. But the centering, like I said, I know they're just real strict with it's like 55-45 or better.
Yep.
And I know they're like 56-43 or whatever. They're not 60-40, but they're a little bit worse than 55-45. You would just give it a shot
Oh
because,
yeah.
like you said,
Oh
the
yeah.
guys just kind of sort of eyeballing it, like, okay, well, this
Yep.
one looks pretty okay. All right, cool.
Sweet.
That's it.
Sweet.
All right, bro.
Well, cool. Good luck.
Yeah.
Crush it out there.
All right, thanks.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye. That guy will do well. You can tell when someone's gonna do well. Let's continue our search for cards before we get interrupted by somebody. I had a student grade this card as a 10. He just sent me a picture of it right before this. These Uptown cards, they actually do pretty well. It's like 675 raw, and then not graded, it's like 200. It's pretty freaking good. Good margin. But let's look at who's a player that I think has potential to go up in value. Let me look at something. I want to look at where Stroud's value is at. See, this is what I'm saying. It's starting to go up. This is what I'm saying, people. Look at this. We're moving up. This card was like what in February? 380. Now it's 440. His market is going upwards. But I'm big on Stroud, man. I was big on Sam Darnold, but I bought enough of him. I wonder if there's any auctions ending. Oh, whoops. $100, one mid bid account. This only shows me auctions with at least one bid. 1,500. I'm not a fan of these manga cards. I'm just not. I don't know why. Red Wave. That's not bad. I've been losing so many auctions because I've been so cheap. I don't know why. I've just been like really cheap lately. Blue Wave. Not bad either. Not bad. Already graded. Blue. This card's probably not in good condition. Yeah, the centering's too far off the left and right. Nah. Nice card, but 2024 Prism. Gold vinyl. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Who am I a fan of? I feel like Michael Penix and like McCarthy, like these guys, like no one's really like talking about. It could just pop up, down, up, down. Anything else? XRC. Always like those cards. See if there's any Michael Penix Prism auctions not graded. Oh, let's do advanced. Do one mid bid count here. And let's see. Purple Ice. This is a terrible picture. Sometimes these cards could be in good condition with these terrible pictures. Nah, it's a little whiting right there, but probably not. Probably not for that one. Let's do not graded. Only a few. Deca rookie downtown. Look at Prism. Let's just look at Prism. Let's see what's ending. Let's do oops. I like the idea of buying basketball, man. I think it's so cheap. Like, I'm not saying any of these players are gonna be good, but like, it's so cheap. Crazy. Prism, let's see if there's anything. The optics stuff, this stuff's just hard to grade, especially when someone takes a picture like this at a weird angle. Probably the centering is no good. But like, if you want to, I guess I shouldn't be saying this, but if you want to deceive people, so you could see this top is bigger than the bottom, you actually want to take it from like the bottom angle, right? So you want to take it so like it's harder to see the top, and it gives the illusion that the bottom is bigger. This he took it the wrong way. You want to take it the other way if you want to try to deceive people. I'm not saying to do that. You shouldn't, but Bonix. Oh, this corner looks funny, a little funny. That looks a little funny. Oh, this is a nice card. He said clean, right? So it must be clean. This is a hard card at 10, man. It's just a hard one. Let's see if this guy grades cards. Oh shit. Whoops. Does he grade cards? Probably not. I'm gonna get rid of these Strouds. I'm not interested in them. Bonix Optic Blue. I don't want to. If you grade this card, you're easily 3xing your money. This card's already at 194. Shit. You can see these cards sell for like, it does like 200. You know, I'll bid on it. This card looks pretty well centered. These optics usually aren't that well centered, but this one actually looks pretty good. All right, I'm not going to be cheap anymore. I need to stop being cheap. I've lost so many auctions. Where's the eBay item number? Oh, it's down here. Did they change it? Wow. They changed it. I'm going to bid 223. That's pretty strong. That's a strong bid right there. Hopefully no one steals it. I feel like sometimes maybe the reason I've been bad at winning auctions lately is because like these podcasts are getting bigger and bigger and people just outbid me. And I'm glad to give value and help people, and hopefully they make money on the cards. Stephon Castle. This card's off centered. You can see the top is bigger than the bottom. I wonder if like, let's see like NBA. See what's going on in the NBA world. Kyle Filipkowski. Gold laser. You're telling me this is let's see. Stephon Castle. White Prism. Let's see some other guys. Let's see like Dillingham. Oh, wow. That's a big card. It's being sold by some sort of auction house. Usually those cards aren't in the best condition. I get scared when I see a scan like this. I get scared. That means they know what they're doing and they probably grade cards. Not. Got a caller? All right, rip it. Go. This is Eric. You're live.
Hey, Eric. This is Jay.
What's up,
calling.
Jay? What's up, Jay? Where are you calling from?
I'm in Florida.
Nice. We're in Florida.
More closer to Central Florida.
Sweet. Yeah, we're over here in Tampa. But how can I help?
So there was like two different things I was going to ask about.
Okay.
One going to be a ComC.
Yep.
And just like how you would go about building your inventory, like, you know, as an example, like on your ComC, how you would, fill out your inventory, like would you be more about just buying cards or sending cards into ComC?
Sending card. I've never used ComC personally. Maybe once actually, but sending cards in, like just buying
Okay.
cards on ComC and then trying to flip them. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, like,
It's
is it
usually
either as
usually not that
either
easy.
like individually or as part of like of a portfolio sale?
Nah, I'd be buying cards. Like you could like what you could do with ComC. So ComC is good for like selling lower end stuff. You could
Hmm.
it's pretty easy to find lower end cards at a discount. Like all these guys. So like this is what you could do. Ready? You
Hmm.
you go on Facebook groups or whatnot of people that break open cards and packs and boxes. All these people that break
Hmm.
have so many cards worth $1, $3, $5, $10 that they don't know what to do with. You ask them, they'll
Hmm.
get super excited to sell them to you. They'll sell them to you at a steep discount just so they have more cash to invest in breaks. And then you put that stuff on ComC.
Fair. Yeah, like you're right. I think like the cards on ComC, they're obviously not like, big chases. They're a lot cheaper. Um and then I guess I think like the second thing, I don't know if like you're really familiar with it. It's like it's another it's just like another avenue of like where cards may be going or not going. Um and it has to do with I don't know if you're familiar with they call it real world assets. Um, but I mean, essentially, it'd be like like items, like cards, collectibles. I don't know if
Yeah,
you would define that. Go ahead.
I have no idea what that is.
So I'm trying to think. Like
What's it called?
right
Real say
now,
that say that again. Real world what?
real world assets.
And what is that?
So essentially, right now, like a lot of different cryptocurrencies. There's no like one go-to place, but a lot of blockchains actually do it. Um, it's like a whole. It's like a big rabbit hole, but essentially there's a lot of like real estate um, listings that are being put on the blockchain and they're fractionalizing like the ownership.
Okay. Oh, I see.
I have seen this with cards, but not on the blockchain. I want to say it was public.com. I don't know if you remember where you could buy like shares of a card.
Yeah, yeah. Me personally, I don't like that because then you don't have full. I'm a control freak. I'm like control, and
Hmm.
that you don't control when the card sells, when it doesn't sell, what it sells for. Me personally, can you make money? Sure, but I don't like it. I'd rather just take that money I was gonna put into a fraction of a card and put it all into one card.
Okay, so like you're saying, right now, currently, like in today's time, it's something that like you're probably not paying a lot of attention to right now, but you're probably because of the ownership and control, you wouldn't be like a big proponent of it currently.
No, but that's just me. Like I'm a the way I like my mindset with anything, with business, with everything is like I want to control everything. I want to learn it myself. We micromanage all of our employees pretty hard. Like I'm
Hmm.
all about control and like I want to uh like with sports cards or business or whatever, I want to
Hmm.
learn the skill myself as best as possible and
Oh,
control all the money I make or don't make myself because I believe in myself and the skills that I've been able to attain. And you kind of, you lose the skill of selling a card if you're gonna put your money into it with other people because you don't control when it sells. So me personally, it's not for me. Uh,
hmm.
but that's just the way I look at it.
Okay, yeah, because there's like I get where you're coming from because it's that whole space. Actually, there's an argument just about a lot of that with how things are like transferred and like on chain, off chain. That's sort of actually what's been going on. But no, I get what you're saying. Like you're not like paying attention to it too much. So you're saying that you can't really like say
Yeah, and also
you don't really have like
I'm not the expert with crypto. To be honest, with you. I've barely messed around with Bitcoin, so I'm probably not the right person to ask. I kind of just stay in my lane and focus on growing my business. I'm just not a crypto expert whatsoever. I know the bare minimum as well.
fair. I get what you're saying. No, I was just calling in to ask about like, just inventory. Would check out my cards because usually a lot of like my single cards. I'll usually either list them on eBay or send them through a consigner.
Okay.
But like the process of getting cards in, like the whole weekdays to like maybe a week, and then you have it listed. It sells like in days, weeks, or hopefully not months, but it happens. And yeah, no, like with ComC, I was just like looking more like efficiency, like turnaround time, like buying cards and then selling cards. That was all.
Got it. Yeah, ComC, I would try to buy cards from people that break. And the whole fraction thing, I'm not a fan of, to be honest.
Okay, fair. No, I was just asking to see like if there was like anything that you came across or that you knew of that
Yeah, good question. Something I'll look into. But yeah, I haven't messed around with it and probably won't.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Eric.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you for calling in. Is there another caller? Somebody said you think you're somebody and got 9 viewers. There's 67 on here actually.
No.
Hey, what's up? You got Eric, you're live.
Hey Eric, this is Johan from Minnesota.
What's up?
I got a question. I got a question about optic football.
Yep, go for it.
And so, what should I focus on buying right now? Because there aren't any comps for PSAs, PSA 10s, and not many for SGC 10s either. But I want to buy these, these rookies, these rookie hollows, and grade them and make 2x my money. But
Yeah, I would.
about comps yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it with Optic or Prism. Any card I would just only buy cards worth at least like $40, and you're gonna over double your money with them because they're kind of hard to grade. So yeah, you won't have a problem doubling your money. I wouldn't worry about it. Just make sure
Okay.
you're paying the right price raw.
Okay, just make sure I'm paying the right price. And the price, in your opinion, the price for these raw cards have kind of stabilized then?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them. Just make sure you're. So like, I'll share my screen and show. So if we look at like,
Sure.
I don't know, like an so I was literally just looking at this card 2 seconds ago. This Optic Blue, 199 Bo Nix. So
Yeah.
if you look here, like this card, there's not a lot of sales of this card. Let me look at another card. So like Hollow Optic Bo Nix. Let's look at that. So this card is actually it started out at like $60, $80, and now it's trending down. In the last 14 days, it's still actually going down. So it's stabilized enough. I just want to be at the lowest end of sales to make sure I'm protecting my ass. But yeah, it's stabilized enough. Just make sure you're buying at the most recent comps, not comps from 2 weeks ago.
All right, cool. And then with this football season starting up in about, I don't know, a month and a half or so, do you recommend just SGC right now? Sending those cards to SGC?
Well, the football season starts in, let's see, June, July, August, like 3 months. So you still have time to send cards to PSA.
Okay, cool, man. All right, that's all I've got.
Sweet.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Sweet.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Last one. Toronto, Canada. All right. Sorry about your Maple Leafs. They just can't get over the hump at all.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? You got Eric? You're live?
Hey, Eric. I'm calling from Canada, Toronto, actually.
Nice. What's your name?
And Daniel.
Daniel. Daniel, are you a Maple Leafs fan?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Sorry,
That's
dude.
more or less why I'm calling.
Sorry about that. But continue.
No, it's okay. I'm happy with their season. I mean, to make it in Game 7, Round 2, they haven't done that in a very long time, so I'll take it. With that said, though, I am a collector.
Yep.
So with that in mind, instead of placing a sports bet on the Maple Leafs, what I did is I bought. So what I did was I bought some Marner cards and some Austin Matthews cards.
Yep.
So I bought a few Matthews cards, probably in around $100.
Yep.
A card, maybe a couple cards, some of 10 like numbered cards, some patch cards. So my question is, as a collector, should I hold on to these cards because I appreciate them, or look to take the cards that I have, maybe sell them for something else that I'm looking to collect, only because of the players and their history.
I'll give you a good analogy. I have a friend. I can't say his name out loud, but he calls me. Like, he calls me a lot for advice, and he calls me like
Yeah.
every other week. And he asked me, "Dude, you think I should break up with my girlfriend?" Like, I'm not sure. Right? And I tell him all the time, like, that's just a question I cannot answer. Like, if you're asking me that, it sounds like you probably should. And he asks me every 2 weeks. And I tell him, if you're asking me that, you probably should. He doesn't break up with me, her. He calls me 2 weeks later and asks me the same question. So it's just something I can't answer. Like, is your goal to just have fun and collect, or is your goal to make money? It's a question for yourself. If your goal is to make money, sell them and, follow my content and do what I say. Start grading cards, flipping them, making money. You could buy more Austin Matthews cards, get them graded, etc. Sell them in Canada. You'll make decent money. Or if your goal is just to have fun, keep them. Is the question for yourself.
Yeah. So I do look to flip cards, and I do grade. I have graded quite a few cards in the past.
Okay.
These cards that I bought, I do believe they would grade relatively high.
Oh, they're not graded. Oh yeah, grade them. Grade them. Yeah.
No, yeah, they are ungraded. Yeah. And then that's fair. Okay, if I grade them, then maybe look to see what they would sell at and make the decision from there.
Yep. That's what I would do.
All right. No, I appreciate it. That's an idea, something I didn't think of.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. In Canada, you could do well too, because people will pay premiums for PSA 10 hockey since it's harder to grade cards because you have to go over the border.
Yes. No, I was at the Toronto Sports Card Expo, and there was definitely a premium on anything Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yep. That's how it goes, especially in Canada. But yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. No. All right, Eric. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Good luck out there.
Definitely. And if anything goes well with those cards, I'll be sure to call.
Let me know. Call in and brag. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, hopefully there's something to brag about.
All right, good luck. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Right, bye-bye.
Thanks.
There's more?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? You got Eric? You're live?
Hey, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name's Frank.
Frank. From where?
From on the East Coast. I'm over in Titusville.
Is that Florida?
Yeah, in Florida. It's where they launch the rockets.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. Couple quick questions for you. I've been doing this for a long time, and I stopped back in probably the early 90s, 2000s.
Okay.
And I was collecting again, and I'm not looking really to make money. I'm trying to build just like a collection, but then again, I don't want to invest in something that I'm losing money in if I go to sell it, if that makes any sense. A couple things I'm confused about as far as the licensing with Panini. Are they not going to be producing football now that Topps has the license, or basketball rather?
Yeah, so I believe, what is it? It's either October of this year or like 2026. Topps takes over for all the for basketball, football, and baseball. So they're gonna, like, how there's Prism right now for like football,
right?
So like that will exist maybe, but Panini won't have the rights to put the logos of the teams or the NFL logo on their cards. So Topps will probably replace that with Topps Chrome Football, which is going to do which is because people want the logos and they want the licensed product. So it's not going to be that big of a change, but it's just going to switch over.
Okay, I was just wondering if basically they're going to become irrelevant as far as for an investment purpose.
Yeah, they probably no. So right now, no. So like if you buy a card of Jaden Daniels, a rookie card, because right now Panini has the license, so the Commanders logo is on that card. In 5 years from now, even if Topps still has the license, the good rookie card of Jaden Daniels will still be the Panini Prism. It won't lose its relevance because it's relevant right now. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes, no, it does.
Yep.
Well, the other question I have in reference to that, as far as what is actually considered the first rookie card, because as far as like Bowman University, you get something that they've got their college uniforms
Yeah, it's
on.
not that. It's the first pro uniforms. Those are the most desirable. So like the good rookie card. There's no like first rookie card. Like they're all just different types of products. But like there's
Well,
Prism.
when I say first, as far as for investment purposes.
Yeah, if you're investing in a player, you want the first professional uniform. Stay away from the college.
Very good.
Cool.
Okay, I guess that's basically it. I was just curious as far as the licensing, and I guess there's no sense in me investing in any of that, like Bowman University or.
Yeah, if you're investing for long term purposes, I wouldn't. I would only buy Bowman University to like buy, grade, and sell and flip quickly.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job. You're very informative. I watch your shows. I've been starting to follow you on TikTok.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I really appreciate the information you give out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know how it goes. If you have if you're looking at any cards over the course of the next week or two, and you have any questions, feel free to call in.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Eric.
All right. Good luck out there. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Bye. All right. I have to go. We have tons of callers, and unfortunately, I just don't have the time today. But we'll be back live on Monday, I think. This upcoming Monday. We'll see. But keep buying, keep doing your thing. Any questions, feel free to call in. There's a huge queue of callers. So call in first and then you'll get your questions answered. But we have a big queue now. So just apologize about the people that couldn't get their questions answered, because I know you might wait for this show to do so. But next time, just call in, and we'll always send out an email beforehand, the day before when we're going live. But if you like this stuff, if you're watching on YouTube, wherever, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.